And although people don't know about you in this very moment, the world would know soon. That's how you have to look at it. That's how I look at it on certain things. Like, it's cool, okay, but just keep going. Eventually, it's gonna happen.
That's all.
You just have to keep going, and it has to be within to know, like, in a humble way.
But it's all good. It's part of the process. It's not supposed to be. Excitement is not supposed to happen all the time.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's a real thing. And I was just reading about that. Like, it's okay to be bored. It's about being productive, but life is not supposed to be a constant, like, just high 24/7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the normalcy of just things being monotonous, or just working out, going to get groceries. Like, every day can't be a party. So it's kind of monotonous, but it's all good. We're living, we're breathing, we're healthy. Have food in the refrigerator, bills are paid, man, that's love. You know what I mean? So you just gotta operate in gratitude.
Nice, bro.
It was a blessing. How was yours?
That's amazing. It was a good week. Yeah, definitely got some great feedback at work. You know, working this new job for the last couple of weeks. So I think I'm in a place where I'm in a routine finally. You know, I think the common saying is it's hard to break a bad habit.
For sure.
Definitely, there were some habits that needed to be broken when it came to like going back in person, working and whatnot. But yeah, bro. Overall, it's been a blessing to. I'm moving this because I'm like, if it's touching that thing, it'd be a bad thing, bad day. But yeah, bro. All right, but I wanna unpack that before we get into today's conversation. I had some good advice given to me, and I actually saw another podcast clip on TikTok or Instagram talking about how, like, a good way, you know, for people that work a 9 to 5 or work 40 hours a week, can add, I wouldn't say excitement, but add some value to their Monday through Friday. Because I think it's normal to get in the monotonous way of life. And, I got to go to the job, or I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to get groceries during the week. The easiest way to break that, they say, is by adding something that you enjoy doing in the middle, like somewhere during the week. So if you like going to the movies, going to a movie on a Tuesday rather than waiting for a Saturday, because that helps break up the monotonous and, like, I mean, you could call it exciting, but some people would say, like, I genuinely have a passion for seeing good movies, and they can go out and do that. And I think we get in this weird, and I'm going to say this weird Americanized way of living of Monday through Friday just has to be this, and this, when it can be all those things, but you can still add some types of, you know, enjoyment, some intrinsic value to your day. So you go home and you're like, okay, yeah, today was good. And I don't think a lot of people put in work or effort to make their days better. I think they have to live by a certain standard or law, when, I mean, the best thing about being an adult, bro, and, you know, living in this world is, if you want to go to a movie at 10:30 at night, you can. There might be some things that come with it, but no one is stopping you from doing things to add value to your life.
That's true. That's true. And I think there does have to be a level of, like, breaking the cycle, because when I say you in general, we don't want to get in a space of, like, becoming, like, dull with the boredom of things going on. Like, that's not a good space to be in.
Yeah.
Just, like, going through the motions, really what it is. It's like, nah, that's not the route, because that can affect your mind. So I think that is a good, and it could be even small. I remember before I moved, when I was in Chicago, and this is me being very honest, like, there were times to where I felt, like, stuck, to where I was like, and I know I'm ready to leave. I know I'm ready for more, or I'm just tired of, like, being in the same space. It would be very, very small, but it was meaningful. And what I mean by this was, like, let's say I would go to the gas station and get gas. I would go get a drink from, like, I would go get, like, try a new drink that I've never had.
Oh,
A
okay.
different type of Arizona, or a different type of, like, just a different drink that I've never had, or a different candy that I've never had, just to where it's like, okay, I might not be able to, like, travel at this point, go see certain things, but I'm at least trying something new. So now it's like, okay, within my day, I've tried something new. And that's what I do now. Like, I'll go try a new food spot, or I'll go eat something different. And I think, like you said, like, going to the movies or doing things that we enjoy, trying new things adds to just our palette of life. But also, and that's why I say there's no such thing as, like, if we go somewhere and I eat something, get, like, a meal and I don't like it, I don't consider it like, oh, this was a waste. This wasn't a good meal. It's like, no, I tried something new, and irregardless if I like it or not, now I know, like, okay, I don't like this, or I do like it, but I tried something new.
There you go.
You know, sometimes people go to a restaurant and they get the same thing over and over and over. It's like, no, try something new like you said, it's hard to break habits. These are certain, sometimes they're so repetitive, people don't realize it.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you actually try something new, don't look at it if you don't like it like, oh, this was a waste. I wasted my bread on this. No, look at it like I tried something new and I just didn't like it, but I got that experience. So it's no loss. It's just a new experience.
That's true.
So
bro. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think some like things like that helps or it can be helpful to just break the monotony, or it can be helpful in just regards to if people feel like they're in certain spaces in their lives and they're not able to do certain things. The smallest thing of going, let's say you go to a Circle K, you try a new drink, or you try a new candy, or you try just something new. It seems small, but you're actually doing something. Like, for example, and I know I'm kind of going on a tangent.
No, go ahead.
I'll do things like this, and I honestly, like, I mean this when I say I do this. Let's say I just have $5 in my wallet. I'll go to my bank and I'll just put it in my savings. Or if I have $2, I'll go to the drive-thru and I'll put it in. Because what it does is, for one, when you're seeing like that you're saving, or you're seeing yourself put money into your account, it does something to you. It doesn't always have to be a big amount.
Yeah.
And then what you're also doing is you're manifesting, like, it's all a spiritual component too. So you're actually like saying, I'm worthy of saving, or I'm saving, or when I do have funds, I'm smart with it.
Yeah.
It's a real like intentionality behind it. And I think doing things like that, it's meaningful. Somebody might look like, why would you go through the drive-thru and put $2 in your account? Well, it's what you're doing for yourself internally, what you're seeing. And it's also the process of being productive and being like, no, I'm going to be intentional about certain things.
Got it. Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that just in regards to like what you mentioned in regards to just, breaking the monotony of things.
And it's a powerful thing to do, bro. And I think it takes a lot of discipline, again, to even just save money nowadays. Like, it's tough for a lot of people, right? And I think $2 and $5 can go a long way if you handle it the right way. And it comes with, again, the walk and the journey that you're in, depending on what time of life that you're in. That can only come with the level of depth, experience, and failure, truthfully.
That's true.
And I think the last thing that I can say to, take us into the main conversation for today's episode is another podcast kind of episode bit that I saw on TikTok or Instagram was, the only way that you can get to success and to win is to fail. Like, you have to fail to grow and to get to a place of, you're building, or you're in a spot where people are finally looking at you and seeing you of value. That only came from a level of failure and life lessons learned and growing that, unfortunately, you can't be on top all the time. That's where comfortability plays a part. So I asked that question because today's conversation I want to have with you is built around and I call it the challenge that certain men have when it comes to making friends from an intimidation side of things. So I don't know if you've ever heard the whole saying of like, dang, Julian, before I met you, I was intimidated by you because ... Or like, hey, Fobs, like, you're a cool guy, but like, I was low-key kind of intimidated by you. So I want to open that convo up, bro, and have, talk a good amount about that, because I think the important thing about this conversation is there's a lot of guys out there that are doing the right thing. They're saving the money. They're getting a haircut. They're working on themselves. They're going to the gym. They have a good job. And they're in a place where they don't feel like they have any friends, right? Or they're like, is it me? How do I continue to seek through this platform, through this medium, through going to a bar? Like, how do I make friends when maybe it's just not the right time? So I want to ask you the first question. I know, again, that was a good amount of breakdown on what we're going over today, but what does it really mean when someone tells you like, oh, Julian, I was intimidated before I met you, or before, I decided to talk to you?
What I think a lot of times it is somebody's looking at the way you look.
Yeah.
And how you dress. And they're just, and it's nothing. And when I say the word judging, I don't mean that in necessarily a bad way, but they're placing a judgment on you.
Yeah.
Or they might have had an interaction with somebody. If we're talking about another man that presented himself well, that was a handsome man, and he might not have been personable, or he might have been rude, or he might have been full of himself. So now that's stuck with them. And if they come in contact with somebody else of that ilk, now they're looking at that person or that man with the same frame. And I think a lot of times that's what that is. But I think what people fail to realize in certain instances is like, it's almost, and we've spoken about this, is usually the dynamic is usually the opposite for somebody who's like really working on themselves. And I'll say this, the disclaimer is this is somebody who actually has a good personality and who's genuine, what I'm about to explain. If we're talking about a man, if there's a man that's actually genuine and he's cool and he's a good dude, but he takes care of himself, he dresses a certain way, he has a certain aura about himself, he probably doesn't have that many people around him, not because he doesn't. I mean, you have to be choosy in regards to who you have around you. But at the same time, if everybody is looking at him like that, then he's not having people come up to him and speak to him. Or there's always usually some type of like, oh, he just has it all, or he gets it all, so we don't need to speak to him. When in his mind, he's like, yo, I'm trying to kick it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool. Like, it's all love. But it's the frame in which people have on that person to where they're like, he has this. So, and we're just going to keep it moving on. And in his mind, he's like, well, yeah, I'm working on myself, but I'm actually a cool person.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually a cool person. And so it's a hard dynamic to like kind of filter through. But I think when you come in contact with another man that's like you, that operates the same way, it just meshes. But it's something that you kind of just have to be on your journey, and it happens. It's hard to really say how you can facilitate a relationship being that way.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Being, let's say, a handsome man that's in the gym, that dresses a way, that's on his purpose, that's trying to achieve certain things. It's kind of a hard thing to like pinpoint how you can like maneuver within that. What do you think?
I think there are points in there that I can agree with when it comes to having that type of dynamic that you're talking about. I think the easiest way for me to explain it is I find that men that still have some growing to do tend to have a good amount of friends, some of them still being from high school and college, which it's not a bad thing, but I think most of the time, the friends that you have in high school aren't necessarily going to be the ones that are there when you're 25 or 29 years old, because there's a lot of growth in some areas, maybe in not very many areas for certain men. But I think when it comes to the guy that I'm speaking on, it's a lot more intentional with the type of dudes that he's bringing in his life. So yes, I would say it's a lot more challenging for guys like that to find dudes that they gel with and call a friend, because they know how much work it took them to get to a place of, all right, well, I'm doing all this and it's fun, but like we talk about, you know, in the Bible, you need community.
Absolutely.
You can't do everything by yourself.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to community, there's certain areas that you got to prioritize as a guy to be like, okay, I'm willing to work with this in a friend, and these things, probably not.
Yeah.
So when they're doing that and they're searching, or not searching, I don't want to say that, but when they're kind of like scoping, trying to figure out like, okay, what would be cool to have, or like what kind of like influences can I have in my life? It's very concrete for them. Whereas most guys are just like, I just want an entourage. I just want dudes in a section just because it looks cool. Or like, I just want to go out and not be by myself because then I feel like a weirdo, or I feel like I'm a loner. And all that's insecurity in different areas. But I think a guy that is playing on the side of, why are people thinking of me as like an intimidation factor, is because he's convicted in who he is as a person, and he has a level of aura that he's moving with, to where the other guys on the other side of the fence are like, oh, that's dangerous to me. That's scary because I want to be like him, but I'm not there yet. And rather than going up to him and being like, bro, like, good fit, which happens sometimes, or like, yo, like you're cool, like we should grab a drink, a coffee, whatever. They're gonna sit back and judge and be like, nah, he's out of my league, in the sense of he's out of my league for a friend, he's out of my league, and he probably doesn't even want to talk to me or think that I'm cool. And I think that's where the gap gets drawn between both sides, and it can be kind of tricky. So
yeah, and I would say this, man, because it's a very real thing.
Yeah,
I would say, man, for speaking on men, if you see another man that has a certain just disposition about himself that you admire or that you aim to obtain, again, you have to be yourself, but you see people and you're like, man, I like how he operates. I like how he dresses. I like how he carries himself. I'll say this, if you're not a naturally like inquisitive person, just step outside your comfort zone and do this. Walk up to him, and I've done this a few times.
Oh yeah.
When especially at the gym, or when I've been in certain situations, Usually it's been men that are older than me. And I've literally done this. So I'm saying this verbatim. Usually it's been, and we've had interactions, but it hasn't been like we've had conversations. So we're aware of each other. But we've had interactions, and then there's been times where I've been like, hey, look, man, I have a question for you, bro. And I don't, by no means am I prying. I'm not prying, but I do want to say, man, the way you carry yourself, I appreciate how you carry yourself. You know what I mean? And you have certain attributes, and I'm seeing certain things to where it's like, again, bro, I'm not prying, but how did you get to where you are? You know what I mean? And I think there's a certain level of, again, if any man is decent in regards to just who his spirit and his character is, he's gonna be open to just being like, well, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a very real thing. Now, again, you do have to be opened up. And when I mean this, I mean susceptible to somebody maybe being a jerk or maybe like being standoffish, and that's fine. Just be like, man, it's all good. Have a good day. You still carry yourself at a high vibration. But for any man that I'm saying has a real character about himself, and he also sees like, because again, you have to be on your journey too.
Yeah.
He has to also see like, nah, you're doing your thing as well. You can't just be like a slouch. And I'm just speaking very candidly. You can't just be like a slouch, and because then it could seem like, well, what's your angle, or what do you? He has to be able to see like, you know, you're doing your thing and you're genuinely seeking. He'll have a conversation with you, and I genuinely, because I've done this before. It'll be even times I'm driving in Scottsdale, and I'm being honest. A dude could be with his woman. I'll roll down my window and be like, bro, hit your window. Hey man, this is a great look, man. Keep doing your thing. I see you. This is man. Hey, I don't even say I aspire to have it, because I'm saying it within what I'm saying. I just be like, bro, I see you. Keep winning, man. This is a great look, man. This is keep living abundantly. And a lot of times they'll be like, hey, bro, I appreciate you, man. Because how many times does that happen? You know what I mean? Like probably never. You know, but for somebody to acknowledge whatever he's had to go through to obtain that, and for somebody to be like, hey, man, keep doing your thing. All I'm saying is, and I'll say this before, again, we were out and I was like, bro, it was a former NBA player. And I remember I said, hey, I think that's such and such. I went up to him and I was like, hey, bro, I'm not going to say his name, but I was like, hey, man, I want to let you know you one of the coldest guards to play the game. And at first, because I mentioned his name, he kind of looked like, and I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not on that. I just wanted to let you know you one of the coldest guards, bro. I respect your game. We shook hands and he lit up. And it's just like, just go speak. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Go speak. And any man that has a good disposition and character about it, and we had a conversation, he'll be willing and open to be like, man, let's converse. It'll just be natural. So that's all I wanted to say, man. Just go out and speak.
Man, those are great examples. And I've seen you do it, you know, firsthand. I've seen you, whether we're out, whether we're, you know, just doing this or going out to, you know, have a drink or have an eat. I've seen you in that moment hype those dudes up and empower them. And I think that's the word, bro. I think it comes down to empowering us as men, because there are so many expectations that continue to get built for dudes, which I'm not saying is, you know, right or wrong or whatever, but we got to stick as a team.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think those moments when you can see the clear light up phase in another dude, it's like, bro, that's what you call emotionally driven conversations in the most positive way. And that's the best part about being human, is that we can analyze that and be like, oh, I can tell that you liked what came from the heart. Because that's what it is. It's not like you're saying, you're not being superficial. You're not trying to get something out of them. All you're doing is saying, yo, dude, you're the coldest guard in the game. Like, I used to watch you, whatever, however you want to say it. And you can feel that. Energy's transferred and you can feel it. And I think the wrong type of dude is going to take it a certain way, and you just carry yourself the exact same way. Because we can think of it from an area of, you're not doing that for him. You're doing it for yourself, truthfully, because you identify something. You're like, you tie it to a memory or a certain situation that you had back in the day. And then you bring it to the whole thing of like, oh, I'm here for this moment to show up. And you don't know how it's going to affect his day in a positive manner. And sometimes that's all it takes, bro. Like that's really all it takes, is an open communication in that. And I think back to the whole thing of the guys that are struggling with it, you got to be willing to dish it out in order to get it and receive it, you know? And the more curiosity that you build from it, you're able to step in those moments and be able to openly just be like, yo, dude, I appreciate it. Or like, Like I was in your position like last year or whatever. And it's now I'm here. So I think that's the biggest takeaway that I get from it, bro, is being able to ask those questions. And when you see it, do it. Just go out and say what's up. That's all you got to do.
Well, and you just said it. The primitive thing that you said right there is when you see something that you like or that you aspire to have, there's no way that you can say that you aspire to live a certain way or want certain things, material or not. And when you see it, you hate on it. Or when you see it, you make a comment about it.
Yeah.
Or when you see it, you act like, man, he thinks he had, like, there's no way, because what you're then saying is you don't want it. Anytime I see somebody in a Lamb, anytime I see somebody in a Tesla truck, anytime, or Cybertruck, anytime I see somebody, man, in a, just something, in a Ferrari drop top, if I know I want that in my heart, when I see it, even if I don't hit my window, I'll be in my car listening to music.
Yeah.
Like, keep going. I swear I'll be in my car, because it's like, I know I want certain things and I'm working towards certain things. So when I see it, I promise you, Jesus as my witness, when I see certain things, I get hyped. Because I'm like, yo, you're doing it. You're doing it. And I know what I have for aspirations for myself. So when I see it, it's like, yeah, keep going. Because I don't know what you had to do to acquire that.
Yeah.
But I know you. It's all of this. It's a symbol. It's symbolic of hard work. When we see people with certain cars or living a certain way or having a certain level of motion, and they've had to grind and thug for it and get to it, all the material things that they have from it, it's just a symbolization of, man, I had to grind for this.
Yeah.
I had to work for this. I had to obtain this. I had to save for this. So me not knowing what you had to do, I know, well, this is a symbolism of hard work. So, and I'm hyped for you.
Yeah.
Because as a man, unless you just came from a rich family, you had to grind for that. So without me knowing anything you've been through, hey, man, I'm happy for you and I'm rooting for you because I know what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's no way I could see that and be like, man, I'm next to a Ferrari and I'm looking over like, man, who does he think he is? How can I want that in my heart and look over and say that? No. And hey, bro, keep going. That's a cold car, man. I see you doing your thing. You got something nice with you, bro. Keep doing, keep going, keep living. And then usually it's like, man, I appreciate you. They get excited back because it's like, man, people might be looking at me, hating at me. You know what I mean? People are like, who does this dude think he you know what I mean? They're getting a lot of those experiences. So when they see somebody genuinely happy, it's like, man, you would want somebody to be happy for you if you driving, you got something nice next to you. You know what I mean? You got a fit on that you want. You got real bread in your pocket and in your bank, and it's 90 degrees outside. You think about all the things you've had to go through. You know what I mean? And somebody's like, man, I see you. Keep going. Think about what that would do for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, all I'm saying in giving those examples is to say, if you know you want something in your heart, when you see it, you should get hyped. You should get hyped. Or internally, you should be like, yeah. I know I'm going to have it one day.
I think most dudes play it down, bro. They really do. It gets back. Things. It gets back to, I know we had the conversation earlier in the year about like I'll just act like you've been there before. You can't have that mentality all the time, bro. Like you got to have the 4-year-old mindset of like, oh my gosh, like this is real.
Facts.
Because that's real emotion. The fake emotion would be to do exactly that. Is like, oh, I've seen one of those on TV before, but have you seen one in real life? Because then it gets into say
that again, bro. Say that again.
Like no, I've seen one on TV or man. My boy, his dad's friend's mom's brother has one of those that I saw on a camera. And I think at the end of the day, dude, we got to stop acting like we've been there and just let our emotions run rampant and do what you like you
for real.
And just appreciate it. Thank you. Because the other side of it, I'm sure, regardless of what he says or what he does internally, bro, we've been in those situations where hey, that's a nice fit, or hey, I like your haircut, or a woman, hey, you look really nice. Like, can I get your number? That does something to you. That adds on, and we all need a level of affirmation in order to keep us going. That's all part of this evolution of living and continuing to do good to yourself, do good to your people, do good to, the community that's around you. And I think sometimes we get mixed in the whole fact of, nah, bro, don't act like a fan, which is a crazy saying, but that's what it is. People are in this whole place of like, I'm not going to be your fan. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. When it's like, Bro, when it's coming from genuine love,
Absolutely.
you can't take that away.
And there's a way to do it. No, there's a way to do it. Now, if you're running up on somebody, screaming, fanned out, it's like, well, yeah, there's a certain level of decorum that's needed.
And that's a different, I would say that's different from pulling from what you do.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's coming from an attention seeking place of like, let me
just being out of
stroke
control.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
let me stroke your ego in order based off the perception that you give off. When you talk to him like you would talk to me, I've gotten a voice message from you saying those exact words. So I know that's who you are as a person. So when I see you doing that outside, I'm like, bro, that's just him. Like, you can't take that away.
And it's like, man, like I genuinely get, bro, I promise you, man, if somebody could see my heart, I get excited when I see, especially my brothers.
Yeah,
I genuinely get excited. But anybody that I see, especially like men, because, bro, I'm going to just speak very candid, bro. Life is hard for men.
Mm-hmm.
Life is hard. And unless you come from like wealth or you've come from and just been giving things, you have anything we have, bro, anything in this crib that you all can see, he's had to work for this. He's had to grind for it. He's had to save for it. He's had to invest for it. He's had to like put his money towards. So if you know the grind of a man, the plight of men, and we're speaking about men, and you see a man acquire, you see a man garnish a certain lifestyle through hard work, through grit, through grind, you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it, there's a certain level of intrinsic understanding that you have for, man, I know you are on the grind to get this. And you obtained it. That's something very special.
Yeah.
That's something very special. So when you see it, again, we're speaking just very candid. If you're a man that knows the plight of men, when you see men acquire and you know what you're aspiring to have or the way you move, the way you dress, the life that you want to live, when you see that, if you don't identify with that with a certain level of, just happiness, you don't really want it. There's no way you want it. If you see another dude out, dressed nice, G'd up, having nice women around him or whatever the vibe is, not even a section, just living a certain way, whatever it is, nice car, just his disposition is on point. If you don't see that and you're like, bro, keep doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. Because if you know how you are, you see somebody else and you're like, oh, we identify. If you don't see that and get like excited.
It's an energy, bro.
It's an energy that you're hating. That's why I said again, if you don't show love, you're hating. Because then what is it? What is it? If you see somebody maneuvering the same way as you, but then you like, man, who does he think he is? Internally, you're not right then.
Yeah.
Internally, you're not right. And so that's why I just say, man, like, now again, it's a personality. Now everybody's personality is different on how they go about it. But internally, you should still feel a way of happiness when you see another man just like winning and having it and just operating a certain way. Because other than that, it's like, but there's no way you can say you really want it. You can't. Because if you see something, that's like you walking in a mansion, not you, but somebody walking in a mansion, and they're like, man, who does this person think they are?
Yeah.
But they're saying they want a mansion.
Yeah.
How?
No, you got your spirits messed up, truthfully. Because there's people out there like that, bro. No, I want it so bad. But then when others have it, it's excusing like, oh, they had that when they grew up. I didn't have it. Or, man, they had a shortcut over here. They were given that. And there's too many people out there like that, bro. But again, it's a spirit. There's a mechanism that wasn't aligned right when it came into the spirit, but everything else, they may be doing right. They may be working hard. They may be on a path. They may be more, let's just say, talent, like inclined with the talent or whatever it is, or the flex or the workload than the other person is.
Very true.
But when it comes to spirit, bro, most of the time it's not necessarily tied to what you can do. If the spirit's not right, it's probably not going to work out very long. Short-lived.
That's a great point.
And the stuff that's, again, like we just got done talking about on the conversation earlier, there's a certain way to do things when it comes to acquiring a brand or a type of lifestyle that you want. And I believe it's so easy. It's so easy to get rich. It's so easy to get famous. It's so easy to do all this stuff and not care about what any type of morals or foundation of living you have. It's easy to do that. What's hard is to do it the right way.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing here, bro. Absolutely. Is everything that we talk about is for the right thing, for the right perception, for the right, morally accepted thing for any guys that are out here that are following their faith, that are following a journey, that are trying to be good men. And when we step out, and even if it's not once a week, it's a month, we hear hey bro, I listen all the time and I respect what you guys do, bro. Like it's helped me build, it's helped my, whatever, my family. I'll take that one over anything, bro, because we're doing it the right way.
Absolutely.
It's not about numbers. It's not about money. It's about doing the right thing. And once you align with the people that are the right people in your life, dude, you can do amazing things with those types of people, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, it goes further than that. So I want to ask you another question, and I need you to put on maybe the cap of what you've heard, or draw back to like what generalizations people have said. But I want to ask you a two-folded question. The first question is going to be, who are you as a person? If somebody asked you, like, Julian, who are you, based off this conversation that we're having? And then on the flip side of that would be, who have people said you are?
That's a good question. Well, in regards to who we are, that's a very layered question, because we have so many different, moods and attributes and, just different acquisitions to ourselves. But at the core, I would say I'm a genuine person. And I think that branches off to different things. Like, I'm very laid back. I would say I'm very caring. Now, I would say this in the sense of this is just who I am, just generally speaking, but also this is who I am for like people that I really love and care about too. So at the core, I would just, because there's so many different things I could say, I would just say, like, in my heart, I know I'm a genuine person. And I hope that disseminates in regards to the interactions that I have with people. And I believe it does. I think it's fair to say that, just being conscientious of who I am, I believe that acquisition permeates when I speak and have interactions with other people. But I would just say genuine. And what was the second?
Who have people said you are?
Well, that's a good question, man. Because I've never, like, I'll say this, I think a lot of times.
And this would be like, let me paint a picture, not to cut you off, but like, this would be someone that had a presumption of who you were, and then talked to you and was like, Julian, I actually thought you were this, you were that, you were that, but you were actually this. Yeah. So I guess that's what I'm trying to ask you.
For sure. And that's what I was going to say. Like, cool, I've usually had experiences to whereas, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of times it's been women in the sense of like, oh, you think you're better than somebody. Like, you think you're like I said, there's been times I've just walked into a room and heard like, who do you think you are? Or you think you're this and that. And it's like, well, again, honestly, I appreciate the comment because I know where it's coming from. Yeah. And I don't take anything from it, because if you see somebody and they haven't spoken a word and you feel like you can gauge who they are just based on you projecting, what you're really saying is, I like your vibe. Yeah. I like how you're dressed. You might be attracted to that person's look, but because of this, I'm associating this with maybe stuck up, arrogance, cocky, things like that, to whereas you're just projecting. But I understand where the projection is coming from. So there's no reason to be mad about it. And that's why the times that this happened, I've looked over and genuinely been like, I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Because if we peel back the onion, I know where that's coming from. I haven't said a word. Right. So if you're saying this, I know where it's coming from. It's coming from a place of you just can't acknowledge in a pleasant way whatever you genuinely want to say. So now you're projecting it under the frame of arrogance, cockiness, whatever other projections you want to do. But I haven't said anything and I know where it's coming from. So it's all good, love. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's good love.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So,
good job, Larry.
It's been things like that. I know you know. No, what I mean?
I know. We've had conversations about that. Sunglasses and bro, that's a good look. That's a good look. But okay, yeah. I think those are two good ones to base off, bro. And again, to affirm what Julian says, Julian is probably one of the most genuine people that anyone can meet.
I love, bro.
And I think
and likewise too. Likewise,
it's hard. It's hard to find those types of people nowadays, man. Like, we don't always agree on stuff. We've had our moments where we've, and it's not even about like, oh, like we've gotten each other's faces or we've gotten, arguments. Like, it's more of just there's certain things that we clearly know that we don't see eye to eye on, but it can be a conversation. I think that's the biggest thing is I've never felt like,
and it's not too many of those. Not to even cut you
No,
off. It's
no.
really not even like it's not even.
yeah. And even if it is,
Yeah.
it's on the same energy of if we did both agree on it. It's all out of love, bro.
Yeah,
like
it's never
there's
like
never
that.
a
Yeah.
time where I felt like you want to be better than me, or like
No,
we're out doing stuff and certain people come and talk to me and you're just there like, oh, well, they should be talking to me. Like, I don't feel any of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's such a, like a big thing nowadays where people want to be seen and viewed. And I get it. I really do. I understand it feels nice to everything we're talking about comes down to being seen and being viewed and appreciated. And no, bro, like I think that's the biggest thing with people, in this case, men, is sometimes it can hit the ego a little bit. And if you're not continuously working on yourself, you won't see that as, oh man, my boy's doing his thing. That's love. Like good for him. Or when your boy takes a trip and it's like, bro, I'm happy for you. Like you're doing something that I'm passionate about, that I love, and you get to experience that for yourself. Like not many people, that's all love. That's real. And that's why I said, bro, this wouldn't be here if it wasn't constant, sharpening of iron, of whatever you want to call it. And that's why I said, like, he's probably one of the most genuine people that anyone could ever meet, and I haven't heard, that's not just me saying it. That's from people that we, hang out around, or family members of like, that's a good dude right there. I take that, and I'm gonna be honest, that feeds my ego. Stuff like that feeds my ego nowadays, rather than someone coming up to me and complimenting me for individual things that I do. That, in this case, my friends, when people say good things, are like, oh, they work really hard. Like, you're lucky to have them as a friend. That goes to my head, bro. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Like I want to chest pound my friends, because that's how it should be. That's what friends are there for. And I guess, to rattle off and to kind of bring that to a close, I'll answer the question on my end. But I would say I'll start with the who people usually say I am. And I've gotten the whole, and it's usually from dudes actually that will say like, bro, I just thought like you would just operate like you're better than everyone, or like the way you walk. I would get that one a lot. Like the way you walk, you just look like you think you're better than everyone. And that's a valid statement. Truthfully, I think the art of walking as men
does matter though. That definitely matters,
bro. Not even for other men, for women. I think things that I've heard and feedback I've heard from women are like, there's just dudes that just don't walk confidently. And I'm like, I get it, because I know what that could look like, but that's not me. My mind could be messed up. I may be having a bad day, but one thing I will not do is walk into a place and not be confident in whatever it is that I'm wearing. It could be Skechers. It could be some Timbs. It could be, chanclas, sandals, whatever. Like I am going to walk in with the utmost confidence, because I know that it's real.
It's internal.
And it affects and it hits people hard. But so I've heard that one. I've heard, dang man, I would say all of them kind of tie back to that. Like that's the best way to describe it. So I guess to me, I would say like I feel like I'm a very loving person, man. Like I very much see the good in everything. And I feel like that is a gift. Whereas I used to think of it as like, oh, people just take advantage of me. No. It's I definitely have learned and grown and see that it's truly a gift to be able to see the good in life, the good in people, and understand that, yes, we all make mistakes for sure, but it's the comeback and how things go after that, and how people show up, how situations show up. And I think that's really allowed me to just stand firm in it, bro. Like every decision, anytime I show up for you or for any of the friends out there, it's based off of like, how can I be of service or loving today? And I would say that's one thing. Like if someone asked me, what would you want someone to say when you pass? It's that I was of service and loving, you know what I mean? So it's not too far off from what you would describe yourself. It's genuine. It really is, bro. And that's why I said like, I don't feel productive as a man if I'm not being of service towards people. Obviously after I take care of my own things, but like, man, I couldn't think of a life to where I'm not helping somebody out, And I think that's a very big thing nowadays for me, and what I view as a good friend. And I can't lie, my friends have that in their own ways, in their own different ways they show it. Like my friends have the, hey, can I help you? Or like, hey, I got this if you need it. And that's where my cup in that area, in that realm is full, bro. Because all the times that we would get, talked about as, oh, you act like you're better than everyone. That's crazy, because I have friends that think that I'm loving, you know, like, and if you really got to know us, and it's and that's what I want to get into, you know, to kind of end this is the physical side of it. We may look like that because you've dealt with someone like that before, and I can't take that away from you, but that sounds like a curve that you still got to go through in order to get over that premeditated thought of seeing somebody and assuming and putting a blanket statement over all of them. So, to ask you that question, bro, like what do you think is the biggest issue when it comes to people that share that type of, I would say it's a comment with you, like what physical trait do men carry that get that, who are genuinely just on their path and, you know, caring people?
Man, truthfully, I don't even think it's a physical trait. What I believe it is it's an internal trait. And it just permeates through the physical. Because how you feel about yourself, like you said, if you walk in a certain way, irregardless of what you're wearing, that's an internal thing.
That's true.
And it's just manifesting itself through how you're operating in the physical. But how you feel is, I feel this way about myself. So when I step in here, I'm going to show it because this is how I feel about myself. It just shows in the physical, but it's how you feel. So when people say certain things, again, I never take it a certain way because I understand that person, whoever's projecting like that, for one, you're probably, and it's not a knock because everybody's on their journey in a certain way, you're probably not really internally working on yourself. Because again, if I see another dude that's fly, that's doing this thing, that's operating a certain way, I'm going to see him, he'll see, and it'll be like, keep doing your thing. It's an understand. There's never that. I've never had an interaction with another dude that's fly, that's doing this thing, that's handsome, that's operating a certain way, and it's one of these. Like, it's never been that. If anything, I know you doing your thing. You know what I mean? It's just a natural, because there's an understanding. But where does that come from? Internally. And again, that's why birds of a feather flock together. Dudes that are fly, that are on a certain trajectory, that operate a certain way, that hit the gym. Bro, we just ran into each other in the gym Sunday. We're around each other all the time, and I was just in the gym, and I feel like, damn, somebody's behind me. I look back, it's my brother walking. And again, like, we didn't say we were going to be in the gym. Like, it's a natural thing. Like, when you're on the same path, or you're grinding towards certain aspirations, or doing, or like attainments, and you're working for certain things, the men that you're around are going to just naturally be doing the same things. So you think men in the NBA are telling other men, man, you think you're like, there's certain nuances, but they're not looking like, man, who you think you are? It's like, yo, we all in the NBA. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the same for dudes that are fly, dudes that drive certain cars, dudes that travel, men that there's never a, man, that only comes from somebody that's really seeing what they like, but internally they might not be right within. So then they're projecting man, I really like what I'm seeing, but I can't give it up in a way that's encouraging. So I'm gonna like try to downplay it. That's all it is. And that's why I say, I appreciate it. Thank you. Cause I know where it's coming from. You really want to say, man, there's some fly stuff going on. How do I obtain it? How do I get to it? And that's why I say, going back, and I'm gonna give it to you. Why don't you go up and ask? Like, man, again, I don't mean to, what I say, I don't mean to pry, but I see how you're operating, man, and it's along the lines of how I am. Like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? And again, it goes back into that, because if you know you're seeing something that you aspire for, you have to give it up and be like, man, what are you doing? If not, you're hating. And it's just that simple, bro. It's that simple.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think what we see obviously is the physical side of it, but I think, you know, funny enough, when you encounter those types of people, you really see their true soul.
You do.
Yeah, when they make comments like that. Or in this case, even the people, I would say, bro, like the most successful people, I still think still struggle with it. You know, I think they still have to be like downplaying other people that have what they have, because then it would make them feel less valuable, which again, that's just another type of issue that, you know, goes into a part of it. But I think bottom line is, when you hear that type of feedback, and you know who you are as a person, it's like, oh man, I see your soul, and I see that there's still work that needs to be done, but thank you, because I know that you're in a journey to where there may be something going on in your life, or genuinely you may just be a hater, you know, and there's those out there too, but you can't let that affect you as a person and make you think like, oh, well, should I do this? Should I turn around? Should I take off the sunglasses? Should I take off the hat. Like that's when it starts getting into a fine line of you're mentally not there yet. You have almost everything, but the mental side of you really is the conviction side is you're struggling. And that can only come with encountering situations like that because, bro, words cut deep. I'm gonna be honest. Like I've definitely have heard some crazy things and I can't lie. Sometimes words did more damage than any other type of physical thing that I went through. Because they stick.
Forever.
They stick. And that can easily come back up in moments of vulnerability, weakness, tiredness, sickness. And those can affirm for a short time unless you check it quick and you are convicted into the foundations that you're living in.
Facts.
But nah, bro, I think we're a little over time, but I just want to say, thank you again for being genuine for one. And
come on, bro.
Just,
you know that, man.
Just being, again, unapologetically yourself, bro, because
Likewise,
the light shines bright. And I think the right people notice that. Love. And I think the best thing that you can do from brother to brother is to continue being that dude that's just out there hyping people up and giving them true love, because a lot of them probably don't experience that. And we got to be there, bro. We got to continue to keep being there for our brothers and for the fellow brothers that are out there that are doing the right thing or that are working on becoming the right man. So,
and I'll say this, bro, because I'll leave it with this, because what you said something was very, very important. Active service. When you're genuinely doing things like that, that's a form of active service.
Yeah, no, it is.
That's a form of acting of service for somebody. When you see somebody winning or just doing something and you're genuinely happy and you express that to them, it's verbal service.
Yeah.
It's verbal service. And what that can do, and again, what that does for that person is an ultimate blessing. But for what that will do for you, it should make you feel good internally, because again, in certain interactions I've had with certain people, I know, and I haven't done it for this reason, but I can tell, like, man, they looked at it like, man, somebody acknowledged me, man. They, even though they don't know the grind that I put in, they saw the byproduct of it and they acknowledged it. Man, that's powerful, man, because again, for men, a lot of people, man, again, there will be times we'll be complimented and things like that, but well, a lot of things go unnoticed, man.
Yeah.
A lot of things go unnoticed. So when somebody sees certain things, especially if it's just finite or if it's very, very nuanced or it's very niched, and they see it and they identify with it, it's like, again, that's why if we talk about like fashion or certain things, it could be very niched, and people that get it create very tight bonds because it's like, yo, our minds think alike.
Yeah.
You understand the meaning and the importance of that, whether it's music or fashion or technology or whatever, or speaking. And there are other people that have that same understanding. So when they see other people that get it too, it's a bond that happens because it's like, oh, you get it. You get it. You know what I mean? So I just want to say all that to say, like, man, like, step out for anybody, step outside your comfort zone and just speak to people. You will be very surprised how receptive people are to conversing, to having conversations, and also blessing you. When you, bro, that'll be another conversation. There's so many things that have happened that I never expected just off genuine conversation, to where it's like, oh, now I'm sitting in first class. You know what I mean?
Crazy,
There's so many things that I've had happen to where it's like, but again, you have to be genuine. And it's never expecting anything. It's just a byproduct of you conversing with somebody or making somebody feel good or just having a real interaction and somebody being like, man, I want to bless you because, man, I didn't even expect this. So all I say is just operate in a space of generosity and go out and ask questions and have conversations with people. And when you see something you like, roll that window down and let that person know, man, I see you.
Yeah.
Let your boy know, bro, that fit looks good, man. I said, man, you went crazy. Let that person know, like, man, I see how you put that together, man. I said, or I know that brand, and you listen to that artist, I know who that is too. Like, let people know. That's all I want to say, man. Just let people know. Bro. Let people know. Don't garnish that and hold that in.
That's beautiful. That really is. I think being open to everything. That's what it is.
That's it.
Being open to feedback, being open to giving compliments, and being open to those times where people are ready to bless you, bro. My guy.
Will come. You already know it's love, bro.
Appreciate you.
Indeed. Yo.